I've worked a lot with different wildlife for over 20 years, and because I have seen a lot of issues coming across my desk at the WSPA, we were working on whales, dolphins, elephants, and lots of big campaigns to protect them. But I was very aware over 20 years ago of the problems affecting bears. And in the early 1990s, I decided, well, I really want to try to do something. This is a forgotten species. Nobody was really considering them. And there's some horrendous things happening to bears. Bear farming, bear baiting, the hunting of bears. Bears in zoos that people see all over the world are usually in horrendous little cages. So I really wanted to try and coordinate something. And at WSPA, we pulled this campaign together. We called it Liberty at the time. But it was to try to focus on what bears are going under exploitation, under threat in all the countries around the world that they're found in. And they are found in many countries, North and South America, throughout Europe and Asia. I really hope I have been able to make a difference to bears around the world in the 18 years that I've been working with WSPA on these bear protection projects. Now, looking back on it, when we first started, there were very few projects or campaigns. Today, there are many NGOs all over the world doing projects to protect bears. We started to build the first bear sanctuaries in 1991. Today, a lot of other NGOs are building bear sanctuaries. They're copying what we're doing. Fantastic. So there is much more of a public awareness and also government awareness of the threats to bears around the world. So I think we have made a difference, but we don't need to go on making a lot more difference. I do find a real interest with bears because they are such intelligent animals and because they have been so abused for so long and because they're usually the animal that people go to in a zoo and they associate, well, I've got a teddy bear, I've seen bears in cartoons and they see them in a zoo, and I feel awful to think that people associate a zoo bear pacing up and down with what a bear should be like in the wild. So I really do feel strongly that people should be doing more to protect in the wild. And I think I do probably like bears more than other animals, yes. The problem is that people do misunderstand bears, and throughout history, people have associated bears with different things. If you look today, bears are used as logos for all sorts of charities. They're used in banks, they're used in shops, they're used in teddy bears. They're used everywhere, cartoons, on TV serials. But so when people go and see them in a zoo, it's not the real bear. Bears in zoos are very rarely have good environments. At the sanctuary here, as you can see, these bears are splashing around and they're ignoring us. They're doing what bears do. And I really want people to understand bears like this, not that they should be exploited, they should be used for dancing, they should be used to extract bile for farming, or they should be used in awful circuses riding bicycles. And there's a lot of that still going on today. I think there are many countries much worse than Romania for dealing with their bears. China is a good example, Japan's another good example. But certainly in countries like Romania, where they have had a long history of hunting bears and catching bears from the wild and putting them in captivity, yes, certainly there is a real need to change attitudes now, and it's the right time. There's the right time that people are starting to think about this. The government is now improving legislation. They've just joined the European Union, so the time is right. They can legally prevent this from happening again, and it's our duty now to help the authorities legally take all these bears from captivity and to put them in a sanctuary like this. Once all the bears are here, the government is now committed to stopping this happening again, so there won't be any more bears in captivity. Because there are so many bears in the wild in Romania, you will always get orphan bears. Hunters will kill mother bears. You'll get orphan bears from the mother dying in a road accident. Sometimes the mother just abandons the bear. And inevitably, we are going to find orphan bear cubs. In the past, they would have gone straight to somebody's house or to a cage outside a restaurant. But from now on, all of those bears that are orphaned will be brought to a facility like this. They'll be brought into this sanctuary, and I really hope that we can achieve their rehabilitation so they can go back to the wild. They will never be put into lifetime captivity again. 8 years ago, we first came out here to Romania to look at a variety of animal issues. At that time, it was mainly stray dog issues, but we saw a lot of bears in cages. And at that time, we spoke with Christina Lapis and said, this needs a bear sanctuary. But we were busy building sanctuaries in other countries. So it was not until 3 years ago that we were able to come back and say, fine, we're going to start building the sanctuary now. And it's taken 3 years to get to this stage, to get all the legal permits, to get the land donated by the Zanesti municipality. It's been a lot of work. There's definitely a very good future for bears in Romania from now on. We've seen such a change in the public attitude and also with the government's attitude, and that's really important in the last few years. And we can see now that the sanctuary is creating a lot of awareness for the public, for the authorities, and for the people who used to bears in cages. And I'm sure now that once we've left here and the sanctuary's up and running, the public are going to be much more aware. They're not going to see bears as a spectacle for entertainment anymore. This is really the start of a better future for bears in Romania. It's clear that when you see the bears that we've rescued from, and looking at the conditions that they were in and the conditions they're in today, the improvement, it's unimaginable, the improvement that they've had in their lives and the improvement you can see in their physical and bodily condition and in their mental condition. These two behind us, for example, they were taken from the wild as young cubs. They were put into a mini zoo. They were in cages all day and maybe let out for an hour to be petted by people. It was not a good life. And once they grew up, they would have been stuffed in the back of a dirty old cage. Now look at them. They're acting like real wild bears. They're ignoring us, they're splashing around. So it's a much better life for them. And we've seen some awful conditions. The bears that are in rusted old cages, poor old Max, the blind bear, was chained to railings for 10 years. And he would walk maybe 10 meters back to his cage at night. Now, for the first time, he's walking around this enclosure. He's obviously never walked that far in his life. He's walking 1 foot at a time. He's testing it all out. So it really is a massive change to see where they are now and looking at where they came from. We're at the stage where we're over halfway done with rescuing bears. We've got over 30 bears. We know there are at least 20 more bears to get. There could be more, could be 30, but at least 20 we know of. And that's going to take many months. So we've got to go back out, rescue those bears. There are also some zoos still closing down, so we've got to take those bears. But I think in another 6 months' time, that should be it. We should have got all of the bears that we know of. But no doubt, in the years to come, another bear will crop up somewhere. We'll find the odd bear here and there. But we're going to have over 50 bears here by the time I can say job is just about done. I think the next bears we'll take are going to be a lot easier. It was a real struggle to start with because the public didn't know what was happening. The owners were very reluctant to give up their bears. Now they know they have to. It's a legal requirement. If they don't, they get real problems with the authorities. So it is getting easier.